Jerry turns, gives to Montgomery, right side, end zone, untouched. You can't cover that man. Jameer Gibbs
Just
on the
unstoppable.
receiving end.
What a year
route that time.
for both these guys.
Gone over 1,000 yards for the season.
We got a good thing going here with me and Ja, going back and forth. I know exactly what this team and this offense is capable of, and if I don't go out there with my best foot forward, I feel like I'm letting them down and letting myself down also.
As we head towards the 2025 season, the Detroit Lions are looking stronger than ever. This video, I'm going to break down the Lions' most important players as we head towards the 2025 season. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Johnny Gaz. Thank you for returning for another video. From the X Factors to the Rising Stars, these will be the crucial players the Lions will need as they head towards their first Super Bowl. Let's go. If you'd like to get involved, comment down below. How do you define the most important player on a football team? And with that being said, who is the most important Lion heading into the 2025 season? Let's bring in Villain Russell from the Lions Villain Squad to discuss those very topics.
Now, I thought long and hard about your topic because that's such a the most important players. The most important players, it's almost like the last show that we did with some of those guys.
Yeah.
Are they the most important players? Because are the most important players the best players? Or is the most important player the person that's going to make the most impact next year? Are there some of these, Levi Onwuzurike's, whatever? Mm-hmm. To me, those are the most important players because if they make the jumps, if they go up and they make those jumps, then all of a sudden you're not even looking at that, right? Oh, we need defensive tackle. Well, if one of those guys step into that role, that could be the most important player.
Does the best three players make them the most important three players? And I don't know that that's necessarily true because, we could argue different areas to where, like you mentioned, Levi Onwuzurike, he could be the most important piece of the defensive line as far as the synergy and everything else that happens. If he plays well, then a lot of other things could play off of him. So in essence, then you could argue him as an important player. But to go against that, Aiden Hutchinson obviously seems like the most important player on the defense because you have to have him at the level you need him at, you think, to win a Super Bowl. But they also won 15 games or whatever it was, 11, 12 games without him. So, what then necessarily defines important player? So it's really a good argument. Mm-hmm.
Aiden Hutchinson's a good one because that's easy. For one, easily the most important player coming back. Because if you're like me, you're wondering, gosh, what would that have been like to have Aiden Hutchinson in that playoff game?
Man,
would they have just won just off of that alone? Would that even have been enough? That one keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
So getting Aiden Hutchinson back and seeing him run on that he looking like a full sprint. Man, that guy can cover 10 yards. It's amazing how he doesn't look like he's going fast, but then you're like, man, he is covering a lot of ground.
That was perfect. You described it perfectly. It's like a gazelle, a legitimate gazelle running down a field where you're like, the strides don't look like he's moving crazy, but then you see he's covering 100 yards in the span of 5 seconds. You're like, man. But that was a really good sign. That's a great video to see. That was a good thing this week with everything else.
You like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do like that. Thanks, Kirk. Another person that's easily the most important person is Penei Sewell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those two were really easy for me, and they're the easy answers. But Penei Sewell, I mean, you can say Jared Goff, you can say, Jameer Gibbs, you could say Montgomery, you could say any of those things. But the thing, whether you're running the ball or whether you're passing the ball, that you got Penei Sewell. You know that you have the man. You can put him on the right side. You can put him on the left side, and he's going to be top at his position. You can get him out into space. You can pull these guys and make Hall of Fame running backs running behind Penei Sewell. So easily, to me, that's an easy answer. Penei Sewell is the most important, maybe the most important player on the roster.
That might be the number one, and I think we talk over and over again about the culture shift for the Lions and where it all started, and go back to his draft pick and everything that has come out of the offensive line and what they had built to that point. And he was really that because Ragnow was there, Decker was there already from the previous regimes, and then you kind of added him in this new kind of attitude, and I think it was the perfect draft pick. And I agree, it might be an obvious answer because he is that pick, but the truth is everything offensively operates around him. And on top of that, it seems to me like a lot of the locker room culture starts and ends with him as well. So not only do you have the on the field production, but you have the guy that sort of leads the charge with this new Lions organization. So,
yeah, and you know what? And if you get into a really, really big pinch, tight end,
that's right. That's right. Spread them out. Let's go.
Let him go.
Oh, man.
And let him go. So I'm sitting in my living room and I'm pondering this, and I'm like, it's 3. You asked me to come up with 3.
I did.
And like 2 was so easy, but this third one, you knew it because you can be like, okay, an offensive, defensive. So there's a bunch of different ways that you could go right here. But what I ended up landed on was Terrion Arnold.
Oh, okay.
Because for one, I think it was different. It's going to be different. And why do I say Terrion Arnold? Because last year he started out so badly. Like you're talking about penalty. I think he had like 9 penalties in the first 10 games.
Yep.
And then like a light switch went on for this kid, and there was only 1 penalty for the rest of the season. And despite injuries at the end, he still played pretty well down the stretch too. So the second year jump. So Aiden Hutchinson is the most important person. Then if you have a cornerback that can shut down the field, if he can make the second year jump into that spot, he could be the most important piece to a Super Bowl team. And that's why I landed on Terrion, because I think he has the potential to do it too. Like the significant jump, just the difference he was from first part of the year to the second part of the year, and now he's going to have a whole off season knowing where the locker room and the cafeteria and the weight room is and all that stuff. He's going to know his routines, and he's been sliding right into it. He could come in and make a gigantic second year leap. So that's why my third guy was Terrion Arnold.
I like that a lot. Speaks a lot on Terrion Arnold. I think the way they responded when Carlton Davis ended up taking his money elsewhere. They signed DJ Reed, and I think the plan, in my opinion, was always to have Terrion Arnold be that number 1 cornerback. And I think you're right. I think they hope and they pray that the second year jump will put him in that position so that they can solidify that for years to come. I mean, they got DJ Reed on what I thought was a very friendly organizational deal. And again, I think the plan is to allow him to help Terrion cultivate and become that guy, that player that the Lions need. I think you're right. I think that's a huge piece, combining the coverage with the upfront presence. I think it would be what the Lions need to take the next step. How do you define the most important player, or sometimes the most valuable player? It is certainly a good discussion. For the best organizations, I believe that the best players align with the best culture fits. And when you can have those two come together, it usually makes a winning combination. It's when the best players are not the culture fits where you typically have the problems. And this new Lions organization, the move away from the same old Lions, seems to head in that direction. So let's break down the top 10 most important players as I define them here as we head towards the 2025 season. A few honorable mentions. We left off my top 10 list. The second-year guard, Christian Mahogany, who we expect to step in as the starting guard opposite Graham Glasgow. Also, Levi Onwuzurike, who could be a very important piece to the Lions defensive line in 2025, depending on some other factors that surround him. We also left off Jack Campbell, as well as Terrion Arnold, who we just discussed in detail with the villain there. I also did not include all-pro safety Kirby Joseph. At number 10, we have one of the Lions' newest additions this offseason, cornerback DJ Reed, and we spent some time talking to the villain about the importance of Terrion Arnold. Well, I believe his development will depend on the addition of DJ Reed. We know the Lions lost Carlton Davis to the New England Patriots. He went out and signed the big contract with them there. Well, it created a hole at cornerback. The Lions, in turn, went out and signed what many would argue was the best cornerback on the free agent market in DJ Reed. He's coming in very talented, a veteran, fits the Lions culture well, and I think will be a good mentor to not only Terrion Arnold, but as well Enos Rakestraw. If they're able to continue to build that cornerback room, it will be a big part to this Lions turnaround on defense in 2025. At number 9, I have the tight end, Sam Laporta. And in last offseason, I made the argument that he might be the most important piece to the Lions offense. He certainly didn't take a step back last year, but I think he had some time recovering from that knee injury, and he got better and better as we got to the end of the 2024 season. The problem was it came off such an historic rookie season for him in 2023, where he set franchise records for receptions, receiving touchdowns, receiving yards, all of that. So there was a lot of expectation heading into that second year, but I think he had a little bit of a setback because of the knee. Heading into 2025, I think he will be a vital piece to the Lions offense, to Jared Goff, to John Morton, the new offensive coordinator, not only in the passing game, but he's such a huge piece to the Lions rushing attack, getting involved in the blocking game. So because of that, he is number 9 on my list for most important players for 2025. At number 8, you have the anchor for the offensive line, Frank Ragnow, who was actually with the organization prior to the Brad Holmes regime takeover, and has been a huge part of the offensive line turnaround for the Lions. Then you add pieces like Taylor Decker, Penei Sewell, so on and so forth, creating one of the best offensive lines in football. Well, it really starts with Frank Ragnow. Since transitioning to center in 2019, he's been a Pro Bowl center. He's been reliable outside of 2021, where he had some injury concerns. He's really played through some nagging injuries and been reliable. He's actually getting healthier here as we get towards the latter stages of his career. That will mean many good things for the Lions offensive line, and because of that, he is number 8 on my list. And although I did leave Kirby Joseph off, I might take some slack for that. At number 7, I have Lions safety Brian Branch. And I have him on this list there because I believe he brings so much versatility to this Lions defense. He can play both safety positions, nickel cornerback. He'll blitz for you. He'll come up and support the run. He is really a rising star in the NFL, and I believe will be so important to what the Lions decide to do defensively, whether that be a scheme shift, moves using multiple looks. They're going to need quality secondary and both these safeties playing at their highest level. And to me, Brian Branch brings so much versatility that he becomes more valuable in that sense. And because of that, he's number 7 on my list for most important players as we head into 2025. At number 6, I have the quarterback of the defense, Thor Alex Anzalone. And I think his importance was shown in detail when he went out last season. The Lions defense really dipped. And when he returned, you saw a marketed improvement there. And he'll be a huge piece to the Lions linebacking room moving forward. And although he's getting towards the end of his career, he is a fantastic man coverage linebacker. They've added to that room, and they're expecting to get some pieces back healthy. I think that will improve the Lions defense tenfold. And really, it's spearheaded by Alex Anzalone. Again, he's been a huge part of the Lions turnaround, a huge part of the Lions culture. He's a great locker room guy. He's a family man, and he is a very important piece to this Lions defense. You could make an argument that any one of the top 5 could be the most important player for the Lions heading into 2025. Kicking it off at number 5, I have the Sun God wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. What an example for anyone within the organization. A 4th-round draft pick that has now turned himself into arguably one of the best wide receivers in all of the NFL. Especially for the Lions wide receiver room, he is a perfect example for a guy like Jamison Williams to be able to mentor and grow behind him. He ultimately makes that room better and makes the whole Lions offense better. He has a great rapport with Jared Goff, and he is truly your hardest working player. Even from his early days when he was a 4th-round pick just trying to earn his way. Then he turns himself into an all-pro. And even to this point, he still continues to show how you maintain that level of play. What a great example throughout your entire organization. Because of all of those reasons, he's the number 5 most important player in my list for the Lions heading into 2025. At number 4, you have the best right tackle in football, Penei Sewell. And he is truly the reason for the Lions' organizational turnaround, the reason why there is no more same old Lions. From the moment he was drafted, he has been everything that the Lions have asked and expected of him. He's the emotional leader on the field, off the field. He's a family man. He's all-pro, Pro Bowler. He can surely make the switch from right tackle to left tackle if you need to down the road. He's the cornerstone for everything that you do on the offensive line and truly offensively. Pass protection, run blocking. He's super athletic. He can truly do it all. And you could make a strong argument that he is the most important player overall, but I just think there's a couple guys ahead of him that you really need to come through for you here in 2025 to hit the ultimate prize. But there is just so much good that you can say about Penei Sewell. I also had to leave running back David Montgomery off this list. Well, that's because of the number 3 most important player, in my opinion, to the Detroit Lions heading into 2025, and that's Sonic Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think he really proved his importance to this offense and what he could be long-term when David Montgomery went out with an injury. He showed that he could be the number 1 guy. The Lions' rushing attack really didn't skip a beat with just him. He's dynamic. He's super fast. He can not only run the football, but he is a weapon receiving, and he can really make it happen in all different kinds of ways. I think his trajectory would indicate that he is not only one of the best running backs in the NFL, but could be a potential MVP candidate down the road. Because of that, I have him as my number 3 most important player for the Detroit Lions heading into 25. The second most important player to the Detroit Lions heading into 2025 is Aiden Hutchinson. And you have to start with the injury recovery. All the news and video coming out of the organization has been positive, and they expect him to be ready to go at the start of the 2025 season. For the Lions defense to take the next step, for them to ultimately win a Super Bowl, he has to be Defensive Player of the Year level. For him to get there, he has to remain healthy. The Lions have to get other players back and healthy around him for him to play to the best of his abilities. He's shown that he can be everything for the Lions defense. His rookie year, 9.5 sacks. Second year, 11.5 sacks. In 2024, he was on a trajectory to break all of those records and potentially be a Defensive Player of the Year. We know what happened in Dallas and everything since then, but now he has an opportunity to jump back into it, and the Lions need their motor defensively, and he is truly that player. If he can come back and be the level that they expect him to be, everything else seems to fall in line defensively. Not only through his pass rush and sack rates, but he'll make other players around him so much better. And because of that, I believe he's the second most important player to the Lions heading into this season. In my opinion, the most important player for the Detroit Lions heading into 2025 is still quarterback Jared Goff. And since 2021, he has been truly efficient and consistent. He's passed for over 4,400 yards the last 3 seasons, over 96 combined touchdowns, and he's really been the leader of your offense. He takes responsibility. He's a fantastic decision maker. Truthfully, the Lions need him to be at his best at the most crucial of times for them to win a Super Bowl. We know what happened in the NFC playoffs last year against the Commanders. He probably had his worst game of the season, and that's just not good enough. And Jared Goff would tell you that. But for the Lions to win a Super Bowl, I believe they have the right quarterback in their system. Jared Goff is a winner. He played at an MVP caliber level in 2024. I expect that to continue in 2025. The Lions offense should be at its same level. They're returning pretty much all of their players offensively. They do need to do some tweaking on the offensive line, but we expect the organization to make the right moves to insulate Jared Goff to give them the best chance to win. For the Lions to win a Super Bowl, they need Jared Goff to be at his best, and I believe that will be the case in 2025. That's going to do it for my top 10 list. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Did I miss any players? in this top 10? Would you have shuffled anybody around? Definitely let me know what you guys think. I can't wait to talk about this topic with you. Thank you so much for sticking around another video. If you dig the vibe here at Johnny Gas Sports, make sure to hit that like button. It's the best free way to help out the channel. I'd also love it if you consider subscribing. We're on the road to 3,000 now, and I believe we're going to get there thanks to you guys. If you hit the notify bell, you won't miss any future videos. I do have a membership option available. If you hit that join button, I'll walk you through what it takes to become a member. That's where I do all my live game play-by-plays, highlight reactions, a ton of other fun stuff. But there is always free content for you here, as well as at any of my other socials at Johnny Gas Sports. More than anything else, take care of yourself and that mental health. That's so important. I want to make sure you come back and see me on future videos. Thank you so much for your time. Have a fantastic week and weekend ahead. Go Lions.